So today we're going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. I have seen this going around a lot and I love everybody's answers and I think it's great. Anyway, you guys know I'm still vlogging on my phone, so hopefully by the time this is up I have batteries, but I have everything written on a sticky note. Getting into the questions, the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2019. And this answer is so hard for me. Honestly, I have a feeling that A Gentleman in Moscow, which is right over there underneath that super hot candle, I have a feeling that is going to be my favorite read up until this point. I am just absolutely in love with that book, and I will explain more later on in another video, but I have a feeling that that might be my favorite book of the year. Other than that, I also have to add The Way of Kings to this list because I'm just loving it so much. Again, not completely done, but this month has been a very good month, and I did start this a couple months ago, and I finally just like breezed through it at this point. But I've absolutely been loving this one, and honestly, another favorite has to be A Game of Thrones. I reread that this year, and I even, like the second time around, it was even better than the first time around. I just absolutely adore that book so much, and I'm so excited to be continuing on with that series. The next question is, what's the best sequel you've read so far this year? And I have to say that is The Well of Ascension. I read the original, or the first Mistborn trilogy. I haven't read the second trilogy yet, but I read the first one earlier this year, and The Well of Ascension is definitely my favorite book of the three. The ending of the third was amazing, but this book as a whole, if I'm going through the first, second, third, this one has to be my favorite one of the three. I just loved this one so much, and when I think back on it, like, this was my favorite period of time. I loved this book so much. Next we have a new release you haven't read yet but want to, and that would be Lost Roses. Normally, new releases, I am not good at these questions, but this one is one I definitely want to get to sooner rather than later. I read Lilac Girls a month or two ago. I'm not sure when this is up, but I read it earlier in the year. Absolutely loved it, and looking very forward to reading this one, which I finally just got my hands on. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Honestly, I don't know. I am so bad at knowing when things are coming out. I really couldn't tell you. I kind of just know as things come out, which is maybe bad for a booktuber, but like I read a lot of backlist stuff and I don't buy a lot of new releases, so that's why I don't know a lot. Next question is, what was your biggest disappointment of 2019? And you guys are probably expecting me to say A Little Life. Yes, that was one of them, but I'm gonna give A Little Life a break for now, and I'm gonna bring out this shit show because this was so bad. Like, A Little Life made me really angry, but the writing itself, like, there was skill there. This particular book, and I am not saying, I know a lot of people love Kate Morton. I'm not saying that all her books are like this. I haven't read any of the other ones, but this one in particular was a dumpster fire. It was just hot garbage. It was overwritten, over-charactered, too much. It was such a waste of time. Like, every single tab in here is like a bad thing. It was so bad. I just couldn't get into it at all. I want to give her another chance in the future. My sister has some of her books. I want to try them just so that I know whether it's like the book or the author for me. But I have nothing against her as a person. Please don't anybody ever think I'm like judging authors as people just because I hate their books. This book I just thought was hot garbage, and I just did not like it, and I would never recommend it to anyone. And I would say if you do want to read Kate Morton, read like any of her other books because I've heard amazing things about all the other ones, but this one, just did not like it. The next one is the biggest surprise, and the biggest surprise of the year, probably Montauk. I wasn't expecting to love this one as much as I did, and I've been talking it up like crazy. I know, you guys know, when I love a book, I just want to talk about it all the time. But this one was definitely the most surprising because it is a romance, and I really, really loved it. It's a historical fiction set just before World War II starts. Summertime. It's just a lovely read. I loved it. There's a good gut punch at the end. It's like a very bittersweet kind of thing, and I just adored this book. I loved Beatrice. I loved her character, and I just I just pulled for her happiness like the entire book. I just wanted her to be happy. So this one was definitely a big surprise. And then going into the next question is your favorite new author or new author to you. And I feel like I'm gonna have to say her, because my other new like favorite authors are probably Marcus Zusak, Frederick Bachman, and Ken Follett, and I feel like I'm in Brandon Sanderson. But technically I read books from those authors last year, so I don't want to include them this year. So I'm going to give Nicola Harrison this particular one. Also maybe Martha Hall Kelly, because I read one of her books and bought a second one. But those two would probably be on my list. 8 and 9 are newest fictional crush and newest favorite character. Honestly, I don't really get crushes on characters, and maybe it's like the married in me or something, but I have like one forever crush, and I just like don't feel like that. I don't about like famous people or characters or whatever. As far as favorite characters go, I think I would have to say Beatrice is one of my favorite characters from Montauk. And then also in The Way of Kings, I really, really love Kaladin's character and Daliner's character. Kaladin is probably my favorite. It's just something about him and his like crew and that like storyline that he has. Like I'm loving that particular book. And then also I really, really loved Ponyboy from The Outsiders, which is over there and I forgot to grab it. But I really loved his character a lot. But other than that, I can't think of like I love a lot of characters, like let's be real, but those are the first ones that I thought of. The next question is a book that made you cry. And now I could have said The Well of Ascension, I could have said The Hero of Ages, I could have said The Final Empire. What books like don't make me cry is a better question, but for the answer to this one, so I'm not reliving all the books already picked, I grabbed My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologizes. I sobbed at the end of this book, and they weren't like entirely sad tears, I guess. Some of them were kind of like happy, like not happy, but like just so like emotional, I guess. But this one definitely made me bawl, and like, when doesn't Frederick Bachman make you cry? Like, that's a better question, but this is my answer for that one. The next book is a book that made you happy, and this was really hard. This was a hard one to answer because a lot of my books are not happy. A lot of them don't have happy endings. A lot of them have like broken families and sadness and grief and loss and just, they're not, I don't typically go for like happy-go-lucky books. Maybe I should, but I just don't. Anyway, a book that did have a very sweet ending, an ending that I felt like I kind of needed at that time, was this one. I don't always need a clean ending, but I was really, really glad about the ending of this one, and it left me feeling very good, and so there's that. The next one is book to film adaptation this year, and honestly, guys, I see a lot of movies, but I cannot remember which ones that I saw that were book to movie adaptations, and I don't think I've read any books that have become movies this year that I know of. Like, I can't think of any off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna leave that one for now because I really can't think of it. Question 15 is your favorite video you filmed this year. And honestly, I don't know. I can't. It's like I read this question and now I'm like, my mind is blank and I should have looked through my videos to see which one was my favorite. So I'm gonna turn this one around and say, if you guys have been around for a bit or you've seen a few of my videos, what was your favorite video that I filmed? Because I think that would be really interesting to find out, because honestly, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Like, maybe some of the book talks that I did, like I think the Game of Thrones book talk was really fun. I really loved doing the Mistborn book talk, but I can't think of all the ones that I did. So that question's for you guys. The next question is, what is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year? And I think I have to give that one to Little Women. I don't know what it is about classics, but if I can find a very inexpensive, beautiful edition, that's my favorite. There's just something about classics where I just want them to be beautiful. Maybe it's because if I never read them, at least they look nice. but I think I have to say, like, the spine is probably one of the most beautiful spines I've ever seen. The back is pretty, the front is pretty. I just adore this cover. I haven't read it, so I can't say I love the book. I hope I love the book once I get to it. It is a chunky little chunker. The next question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I'd love to finish the Illuminae series or trilogy. I haven't started it yet, but Illuminae is on one of my like 5-star predictions for the year, so I would like to finish that one at some point. I'd like to at least finish at least 2 more of the A Song of Ice and Fire books. I finished the first one. I would like to at least get to the 3rd one by the end of the year, if not further. I would love to read the next Stormlight Archive book. I think it's called, what is it called? Words of Radiance, I think. It's over there. I feel like a lot of this has to do with like sequels. I also need to read Robin, which is my Robin Williams biography. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read very well. We Were the Lucky Ones. And I would like to get to Children of Blood and Bone because I've officially had it for a year and haven't read it, and I think I need to read it. I think the sequel is coming out. I don't even know if I'm gonna like that one, so I feel like I need to catch up. That's about all I can think of, and like more than we can tell, but that's literally on my TBR, so I should get to it pretty soon. That's all I can think of for books that I need to get to. I'm not super strict. There's like, I mean, realistically, I would like to get as many of these read as possible that are in my room right now, but for now, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below. Did you love any of these books, hate any of these books? If you have any answers to any of these questions, you can leave them down below. While you're down there, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss any future notifications, and I will talk to you guys all soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.